morning, everyone, or good afternoon, or good evening from wherever you are tuning in from. My name is Angeline Constantinou, and I am empowerment coach and podcaster of Let's Break the Silence with Angeline. So I help women who have suffered from domestic violence, and I help them to step into their power and find their true purpose, because it is so important, because we have a voice. And soon I am going to be launching something really amazing in August. So please stay tuned on the next podcast episode for that. So in the meantime, if you have not subscribed yet, welcome to my broadcast, and please like and subscribe to my podcast on Spotify for podcasters, Spotify, Google, Apple, and all the live streams. And we would love a rating, and, we would love to hear from you. And also, the reason why we are live here today, and this broadcast will be uploaded on my YouTube channel 1 week from tomorrow, which is Wednesday. So please go ahead and like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Let's Break the Silence with Angeline, where all my podcast episodes go live every Wednesday morning at 7 a.m. Eastern time, and also on my podcast as well. So we have a very special guest today. Super excited to bring a woman entrepreneur who is thriving. Her name is Kelly Anderson. She is going to be sharing her story of the power of 7 and how this was a pivotal part of her life. So before we do that, let me do a brief introduction so you know who Kelly is. So born and raised in Athens, Georgia, Kelly has worked in the health and fitness industry since 2006. She has vast experience in teaching Pilates, corrective exercise, personal training, group fitness, mindset, and motivation. She is a lifelong runner and has had a passion for all things health-related and anti-aging. She has a BFA degree in drawing and painting from the University of Georgia and ran her own mural painting company for 10 years. So Kelly began her journey into the growing field of biohacking in 2021, and her ideas for 2 movements called Biohacker Mom and the Feeling Good Mama were born to support women and moms 40 plus. She serves to uplift and inspire women and families all over the world. So Kelly is a single mom, an artist, an illustrator, a writer, a women's coach, and an entrepreneur. She and her daughter, 12, will be celebrating the release of her first of a series of children's books called Violet, Oleander Rose in August of 2023. And we are going to be talking about her book today. And Violet will be a health and mindset expert for kids. So Kelly and her daughter enjoy the beach and working on new projects together. They share a crazy life with their red heeler, Simon, and chubby kitty, Smokey. So without further ado, let me bring on Kelly. Good morning, Kelly.
Good morning, Angeline. Thank you so much. That was a really great intro. I really appreciate that.
You're welcome. So Kelly, where are you from, and what is the time where you are right now?
So I am on a little island called St. Simon's Island in Georgia, and we are about the size of Manhattan and about 45 minutes north of Florida. So it doesn't take us very long to get to Florida from here. It's very hot, it's very humid, and very buggy right now, but I love it. I absolutely love it. It's water everywhere.
You know what? Water is everything. It's so calming.
It is. It's wonderful. We do have hurricanes and things like that, so that can be a little unnerving this time of year, but I love living at the beach.
Oh, nothing like living at the beach. That's on my bucket list, actually. Live on the beach.
I recommend it.
Good. So I can take my little walks on the beach. So definitely one of my goals on my bucket list, which I'm working on. So Kelly, I'm so happy you're here, and I'm so happy that we connected at a mutual friend. So let's talk about the power of 7 and how this was a pivotal part of your life. So who is Kelly? So share your story, please.
So the power of 7, in 2016, my husband, who had been having some pretty significant issues basically got in his car and drove away. And he was a missing person for 7 weeks. And during those 7 weeks, we did not hear from him. We had a lot of detectives who were trying to investigate the case and try to figure out what was going on. And we could tell that he was alive, but we just couldn't pinpoint exactly where he was. And so for 7 weeks, it ended up he was traveling across the United States. And I think it probably for him, it was a soul searching trip for him. And he had some significant things to work out. But for me, I was back home and our daughter was 5. And I was trying to still maintain some level of normalcy for our daughter and try not to let all that was going on affect her. She was in preschool and she still had lots of friends around in the neighborhood and all. And I was trying to maintain all of that for her while my world was just completely falling apart. I mean, on every level, my life was just a huge question mark. Our home, how are we going to keep our home? He was the breadwinner of our family. So I'm somehow going to have to get a job here. I mean, I had a job. I was teaching exercise, but it wasn't significant. I was teaching maybe 4 classes a week. It wasn't significant income by any means. So I was in major collapse. I was losing weight significantly. I was not sleeping. I was just in total terror, basically, is how I can explain those 7 weeks. And finally, at the end of the 7 weeks, it did not end well. He was found, but he was not alive. And in some ways, there was like a huge relief because it was just like, am I going to go the rest of my life not knowing where my husband is, the father of our child? What a horrible thing to wonder, am I going to have to go the rest of my life wondering, what is he doing? What's going on? And so in some ways, there was closure. Wasn't by any means the answer that we wanted, but there was some closure. And it was kind of like, okay, I know where I sit now. It's not a good place to be sitting, but I know where I sit. And so those 7 weeks were like, there's no better explanation than to say I was going through the fire in those 7 weeks. And I really was becoming a new person on every level during those 7 weeks.
Okay.
And so it's now been 7 years since that happened. And so the 7 has been extremely significant to me because I just realized we just saw the anniversary of his death on June 20th, just a little less than a month ago. But I really saw 7 years. It's the first time that I have felt like we're going to be okay. It's the first time that I have felt like I'm really proud of us and we have a vision for moving forward and it's good. And I really feel like it took those 7 years for me. I'm not fully healed. I don't think I will ever be fully healed, but it took those 7 years for me to finally get to a place where I feel like I'm somewhat grounded again.
Wow, what a story. Oh my goodness. Can you imagine going through that pain? So, if any single moms are watching this live right now, and if this story hits home with you, please drop a comment below, hits home, because I can just imagine how you felt at that time. But your story is so powerful that you named it The Power of 7 and how this was a pivotal part in your life. So, going from that dark place in your life, what were the skills and strategies that you implemented in order to get where you are right now, including writing the book?
Oh gosh, I think I have learned that you can't be in survival mode forever or it will kill you, because I started noticing maybe like, I guess we were about 5 years out. I've been in survival mode for 5 years and it's become such a habit that it's starting to kill me. My adrenals were just completely depleted. I was just exhausted, literally for 5 years, just exhausted, just pushing and pushing and pushing. And that fear, I have this thing psychologically, because when he was missing at night was when I really struggled the most. And as soon as I started to feel the night coming on, I would just feel this such an extreme terror. And that has not gone away completely, but I would say the first 5 years out, it was really, really extreme, to where I feel like I have to be on guard. And when the night comes on, it's like I'm starting to cover up, and I still have a little bit of that. It's not as extreme, but I started noticing those things, and I started noticing this is not healthy. These are some things that I probably should get a handle on. So I would say a big lesson is that we can't live in survival mode forever. It's not healthy. And humans need to figure out a way to not be in survival mode. It's okay if you go through something really bad, but don't let it become a habit that you are always trying to regroup. And if you're not careful, it can become a lifestyle where you're just constantly freaking out and constantly, oh my gosh, it's all going to come crashing down. It's not a healthy way to be living. And so finally, I started saying, I'm not going to accept this for my daughter and I anymore. At some point, I had to come to a place where I'm like, I have to have more faith that things are just going to be okay. And slowly, it has started to subside. It's not 100%, but it has subsided. And the other thing I've learned is there is a silver lining around everything. No matter what happens in life, there is a silver lining. It can be the worst thing in the world, because I feel like I went pretty close through one of the worst things anyone can go through. And I'm here to say it didn't turn out the way I wanted it to turn out. I never would have wanted to go through that. I wouldn't want anyone to go through that. But there have been so many blessings for going through that. And so I really want to tell everybody, for everything bad, there is always good. And that's been another really big lesson.
Yes. And thank you for sharing that. And like they say, in every cloud, there's a silver lining. And you found a silver lining. And what you talked about resonates with me. Not to be, you could be in survival mode for so long, but there comes a point, like for myself, I took ownership. In your case, you did the same thing. You took ownership. I'm really glad that you shared that, because that, in my opinion, is huge. And I don't think that we completely heal from the trauma. I mean, I've gone through therapy, and I don't know about you, but I went through an intensive where my mentor had to peel back the layers. And once I did that, I was able to start my podcast and share my story, because I just threw up this big wall that I used to be afraid of other people's opinions. Oh, what if I share my story? It doesn't matter. And guess what? People are drawn to you. People are drawn to your story, because sharing your story, to me, for yourself, that's a huge breakthrough. So not being in survival mode, because you could only stay there for so long.
Yeah, exactly. And I think there are a lot of people out there who haven't even gone through maybe anything as extreme, but since childhood, maybe they come from a poverty mindset environment or life is struggle environment. And so they get into that habit, and they may not have gone through severe trauma, but just being raised in that, they're always in survival mode. And I think we as a culture need to start all learning to trust more and just have faith that the universe, God, whoever has our back, is looking out for us. I look back over what all has transpired since, and I can just so see how God was just looking out for us just over and over and over. He had our back.
Right. God did have your back. God brought you through the storm. And that's what it takes, everyone. For those of you who are watching this, who will be watching this 1 week from tomorrow, this is what it is. God brings us through the storm, and you went through a huge storm. I can't imagine living through that. I cannot imagine. So I would like you to share some inspiration of hope for single moms who have gone through something similar as you have, because I'm sure that you're not the only one. So how would you empower them that they no longer have to be in survival mode and they can be thriving just like you?
I would say a couple of things. You have within you whatever it takes to pull yourself out. You have it within you, but you also don't have to do it alone. And so many people, a lot of women have that martyr syndrome where they're like, I have to do it. I do this for my kids. I do this. And then you become a single mom. There's just no way that you can be the martyr when you're a single mom. You will kill yourself being the martyr. And so learn to accept help. That's one thing that I did was I was like, I just kept that whole thing of it takes a community, it takes a village to raise a child. I just totally engulfed that mentality. And I just surrounded myself with so many people. Someone offered, oh, I can have Olivia for a little while so you can have some free time to yourself. Yes, thank you. I'm not going to be the martyr here. I need time for myself. Take her. I've had so many of her teachers say, if you're ever having issues, please reach out to me. I reach out. I'm like, this is going on. Give me some advice here. So I think that a lot of single moms, they might feel like, oh, I have to do this all on my own. I'm closed off to the world. You don't. And I really think that God will put people in front of you. If you're open, he will put what you need, but you do have to be open.
Right. And let down your guard.
Let down your guard. It doesn't matter
what you said, to stop being a martyr, not to be a martyr. Wow, that's powerful.
So many women think that if they're not doing everything for their kids, that they're terrible and they're failing. And it's just not true. And especially if you're a single mom, you're only one person, and most kids have or should have two. These days, maybe most kids don't have two, but they should. And so if the other parent is not around, not involved, start to pull in family members, pull in friends, pull in people from the community that can help you and really let it sink in. I don't have to do this by myself.
Right. You are not alone.
Mm-hmm.
Single moms out there, you are not alone. Same thing for me. I was not alone. It takes a village and a community. It does. There's no way that you could do this alone. I didn't. I surrendered my pride and ego, and I said, that's it. I'm drawing a line in the sand, and I am going to seek help. And boy, am I happy I did. There's resources out there. What types of resources can single moms tap into?
Well, gosh, there's a whole host. I think that your children's school is actually a really good resource. Like, I would always get in with Olivia's teachers. I would contact the principal. They all knew Olivia's situation from the get-go, from the very beginning of the school year. I was contacting all of the key players in her life, and I was just saying, just keep an eye on her, please. Just keep an eye on her. This is what we've been through. Let me know if there's anything going on. And then of course, other parents, they feel for single moms. I know they do because I've felt it. And
Right.
so other moms, they start thinking, wow, if I was in that situation, I would want someone to do this for me. So don't be afraid to reach out to other married, unsingle parent. Don't be afraid because they could so easily be in your situation. So they need to be helping. And that's my opinion. They need to be helping those who don't have the resources, hopefully in your community. There's always support, all kinds of different government assisted support, and then also churches and things like that. And hopefully, family. Be resourceful and don't be shy. Don't be bashful about reaching out for help. Another thing is a lot of women who have been through trauma. My biggest issue when I was coming out of the first couple of years, I was exhausted. I was so exhausted. I had such horrible adrenal fatigue that I could only go maybe 2 hours and then I would need to take a nap. So you have to be resourceful with looking out for you. Like I set up my work where I could take a couple of clients and then have a break. And so you have to get resourceful like that to look out for your health. And I know that there are a lot of single moms who are working full-time, 40-hour-a-week jobs and under an employer, but work to make sure that employer understands your situation and stand strong for what you need. If you need rest at points during the day, let your employer know, listen, this is what I've been through. I'm so exhausted. I want to do the best job I can for you, but I need little breaks here and there. Can I please just go to the break room when I need to, just to regroup? And
Sure.
hopefully, if you have a good employer, they will allow those sorts of things for you.
Exactly. And actually, some employers do that today. So the last company that I used to work for, they had what's called Health and Wellness Day, meaning there were times, even today, that I had to take a mental health break. And I work from home too, and I still work from home today. So you have to take a mental health break. You have to take a break, a timeout, go out for a walk, go out for a 10, 15-minute walk and regroup. That's what I did. And I'm sure you did the same thing too. And I recommend that. What you say is true. Take a break. Tell your employer that you need to take a 10-minute break and go out for a walk so I can regroup. Because that's so important. Otherwise, you're just going to be in that stressful, because there's a lot of high stress jobs out there today. And these women, I admire them for working, providing for their children, but they need to take a mental health break too.
I think one advantage that I had was I had been in health and wellness for 10 years when I went through what happened to us. I had a pretty good foundation for taking care of myself, for nutrition. I understood sleep, nutrition, all that. Now, my biggest problem was I was having trouble sleeping. I couldn't eat, but I knew I needed to still keep exercising. I knew that I needed to meditate, have time for myself, for reflection. And so, really looking out for your health when you've come through a trauma situation, looking out for your health is just so important. So, I would encourage, if you don't have a background for that, you don't understand nutrition and exercise, find a coach. Find a coach who can help you be as healthy as you can possibly be to make sure you stay on the path to getting back on your feet.
Exactly. That's important. Your health is your wealth. No doubt about it. Because when you pour love into you and take care of you, you're able to take care of your own family. But if you're not pouring enough health, like you're talking about, it's not going to happen. You won't be able to take care of your children. So that's really, really important, especially for single moms out there. So I would love to talk about the book. The book is so intriguing. So, how did the book come about with your daughter?
So I think I have always been very interested in mindset, how the human brain works, what motivates us, what holds us back. When I was young, I had a lot of self-esteem issues. And I think that I kind of had to go through all of that to get to the other side, to understand what it's like on both sides. And so I guess about 2 years ago, I started going on a real mindset journey. It started mostly with Bob Proctor, but then I just took off. Anybody who was teaching mindset, I was just all over it.
Oh, sure.
I took courses. I started listening to a lot of podcasts and basically became obsessed with mindset because I felt like with what I had been through, the only thing really that's going to get me out and get me to the next level is right here. And I've really tried to work on that with my daughter as well. So I guess it was actually before the real drama, we'll say, occurred with my husband. He was still having some issues. I would say 2015. And so I started drawing this little character. She just came out of the blue, but I started drawing her. And I just started noticing that when I would draw her, she was kind of comforting. She seemed to have a lot of wisdom. She was very quirky and kooky, but at the same time, she was giving me some strength. So I just started Googling her. And I mean, just not Googling, I was doodling.
Yeah, doodling. Okay. I like that.
I was doodling her. And I started just sharing her here and there with some friends, and they loved her. And so, long story short, I started sharing her on Facebook, and people started requesting a book. And so, all my friends, they just kept saying, "When are you going to do a book? When are you going to do a book?" And so, finally, I guess it was about September of last year, I just said, you know what? We're going to do a book. And so I went to my daughter and I said, I want you to write a book. This is what it's about. It's about mindset, and I'll do the drawings for it. So this book is about the negative voices that we tell ourselves and how she eventually gets to the point where she says, no, I'm not listening to you. I'm only going to listen to the voices that are my friends. And they are the ones that are saying nice things to her. And so it's basically her battle with the voices. And so our book is called Violet and the Voices. This is my mouse pad, but this is my character. This is Violet.
Wow.
And so
You know,
and I love
this
mouse pad because it says humans were made to do hard things. And I have it here at my computer all the time. And so it's such a good reminder. But so she's basically a health and mindset coach for kids. And so anything about health and wellness, about positive attitude, and about really going for it in life, following your dreams, not being afraid to get out and try new things. And so I hope she's really going to encourage a lot of kids and parents too. Adults seem to like her also.
Oh, no doubt about it. So when will the book come out?
The goal right now is last week of August, first week of September. We don't have a solid date, but we will. We're working on her website as we speak. It's going to be violet.oleanderrose.com. So we should have, hopefully pretty soon, we'll have the dates up on the website for her. And she's got a Facebook page as well, if you want to check her out on Facebook, Violet Oleander Rose.
Violet Ole, and how do you spell Oleander?
Oleander. So I'm really big into flowers, and so she's a flower girl.
I love flowers. In fact, I buy flowers for myself every week.
I think that's great.
Yes, that's important too, self-love. Violet Oleander Rose on Facebook. So folks, you can reach out to Violet Oleander Rose on Facebook, and I love the theme of the book. I can't wait until it comes out because I'm buying the book.
Mhm. Yeah.
She's going to empower many people.
It's weird because even creating the book, it has helped me because she's always got these bubbles. They're like quote bubbles all around her, and they're negative, and it's basically about what she tries to do to get rid of them. So now I'll catch myself in a negative thought and I'll think of it as like a bubble. And I'm like, nope, out of here. I don't need you. You're not my friend. And so I really hope that it reaches kids and empowers them to know like those negative thoughts, they're not my friend. And I don't have to listen. I don't have to accept them. They're out of here. I'm only going to listen to the good ones.
Right. Positive voices only. No negativity allowed. That's just the devil trying to put a number in the kid's mindset. So I commend your daughter. She is amazing for bringing awareness. So Violet and the Voices, that will be the name of the book. And I can see how this book is going to not only empower young children, but empower adults.
Yeah, sadly,
I can see.
Once we reach adulthood, we are not fixed on this level, are we? By any means.
Right, exactly.
I was listening to a podcast of someone in their 80s, and they were even talking about their insecurities and how they still worry about what other people think of them and all in their 80s. And I'm like, wow, it's a lifelong process. It's a lifelong thing to be working on, but it's important.
It is. It is. It's a lifelong journey. It's something that we all need to work on our mindset from going from a lack mindset to a growth mindset, going from scarcity to growth mindset. It takes work. And as we get older, it takes more work, believe it or not. When we're younger, we're able to, I think, overcome that. But, that's very, very important because I only thrive on positivity vibes. Not that I am a Pollyanna, but moving into that growth mindset is going to lead you to abundance. If you're just stuck, if you're feeling stuck and a wall is right here, abundance is not going to flow. You're just going to be living in lack for the rest of your life. And I don't think you want that. I don't think people want that.
No, not at all. It's the messages of society. Society wants us to have that limited outlook on things.
Right.
As a society, there's more control over humanity when we're thinking kind of squelched and small. The powers that be can have a lot more control over us. But when we start to think abundantly, infinite power and no bars holding us back, we become empowered. And it's just the holds that society has placed on us. And if we have to do the same thing as we do the negative voices. We have to say, nope, that's not for me. Nope, that's not for me. I'm not going to listen to what society is saying on that. I'm going to go my own way. And that's why I really encourage my daughter, when you see the group going one way, don't necessarily just be blatant about going the other way, but don't always go with the group, because as individuals, the group does not have our best interest at heart.
That's true. You have to be the leader.
You have to be the leader, and you have to start being okay and strong enough with standing alone and standing on your own.
Exactly. Not only standing on your own, but standing in your own truth.
Exactly.
That's important. And you're going to lose people. You will lose people, but they weren't meant to be in your reality. So I admire your daughter. She's amazing. And I admire you too. So what plans do you have? Let's talk about what you're doing now.
Well, our biggest thing is this book. Our biggest thing is to get the book out in August and then promote it. My daughter is 12, so I don't think she understands exactly, like, you're going to be a book author. I mean, that's pretty huge for 12. You'll be a book author and you're going to be out promoting your book. And I think she's very much into dance and cheerleading and all of those. So she's just like, okay, as long as I can keep doing my thing. She doesn't quite understand this is a job and we're going to be out promoting her. But I think once it comes out and she sees excitement for it, she'll get excited about it.
Oh, she will get excited. She's probably feeling numb right now.
Right now, there's a little bit of sibling rivalry between her and Violet. Yes.
Oh, really? Okay.
Violet has been getting a lot of attention. And so I think right now she's a little bit like, oh gosh, Violet.
Aww. That's cute. I admire you for raising daughters. That's not an easy task to do.
I have no choice. So.
Well, Kelly, in closing, because we're coming up to the top of the hour, what is a special message of inspiration that you would love to give to the single moms out there?
So I think I'd like to say you don't have to go through 7 of anything to learn the lessons. And don't be hard on yourself. If you are going through something hard and terrible, traumatic, give yourself a lot of grace. Allow yourself to sleep. Allow yourself to feel good. Doing things that feel good are important when you're going through trauma, when you're going through something awful. Breathe a lot. Focus on your breath. Focus on meditating and focus on what are the lessons? Why am I going through this? Because you're going through it for a reason. What are the lessons? And how can I turn this into something really positive and really good in the end? And start working toward that.
Exactly. I'm glad you brought that out, especially about giving ourselves grace and plenty of sleep. Like this morning, I allowed myself to sleep in until 6:15 in the morning. That may not seem late for a lot of people, but for me, that's late and I needed that rest. And I still was able to do my meditation. I always have my coffee in the morning, meditate, journaling, exercise. 15 minutes is better than nothing. And bringing you here on the podcast. So just give yourself some grace, ladies, because sleep is important. You'll hear people say, oh, don't sleep, but you need at least between 7 to 8 hours of sleep, or 7 to 9.
And especially if you are going through or you have just gone through something traumatic and something majorly stressful, you're going to need more sleep than the norm. And so when you feel that, listen to your body and rest. I'm a napper, and I don't care what anybody says about naps. If I'm needing a nap, I just nap.
Good for you. It's rejuvenating. That's something I'm going to incorporate for myself. So where can people reach you? Where's the best place for people to get in touch with you?
So I am on Facebook, Kelly, Stevens Anderson, and it's actually Anderson. And then if you're interested in being in my women's group, the Feeling Good Mama, it's the Feeling Good Mama on Facebook and also on Instagram. That's about it. Violet Oleander Rose, she's on Instagram and Facebook. And you guys join our movement.
Join our movement, ladies. Join our movement. Absolutely. So the Feeling Good Mama on Facebook. And also I spelled your last name correct. So please reach out to Kelly on Facebook at Kelly Stevens Anderson. And I think you did mention that your website is under reconstruction, correct?
Yes. It's going to be thefeelinggoodmama.com. And also, just so you know, the G in feeling is not there. It's feeling, Feelin, because we're down south. I don't know.
Right, I hear you. I hear what you're saying.
My accent, but we're down south and we say feeling, we're feeling good. So it's the Feeling Good Mama.
I like that even better. And, you know, I'm blessed because we connected. Feeling Good Mama. I love people in the South. I do. I have a lot of friends who live in Georgia, Texas, Florida. Florida to me is like more of transplants.
It is.
Or
it's a milk.
like, you know, Georgia, the Carolinas, Texas,
Yep.
Louisiana. People are down to earth.
Mm-hmm.
They're very, very much down to earth. So I actually see myself relocating either
Yes.
to Greece or down south. So feeling good, mama. I love it.
As we say, come on down.
Come on down. Come on down. I love it. Come on down, everyone. Y'all. Y'all. There you go. There you go. Well, Kelly, I want to thank you for being not only a special guest on my podcast, but a very good friend, sharing your story of the power of 7 and how this was a pivotal part of your life, because this is not an easy story to share. And I admire your resilience and perseverance, and now helping other mamas feeling good. And I can't wait until the book is released. So please be on the lookout for that. Violet and the Voices will be released sometime in August, right?
Yep.
Okay, August. And please follow Kelly Stevens Anderson on Facebook. And you also have an Instagram account?
I do. Well, I think you can just do the Feeling Good Mama. I'll pop up with that.
All right, very good. So Feeling Good Mama on Instagram. So everyone, and please stay for a little bit after the broadcast. So I want to thank everyone here for watching the live broadcast here on YouTube. So please go ahead and like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is Let's Break the Silence with Angeline, where we launch weekly new podcast episodes every Wednesday morning at 7 a.m. Eastern Time. And please like and subscribe to my podcast on Spotify for podcasters, Google, Apple, and all the other live streams that you listen to. And I wish you all an amazing day. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.